Yeah, you're talking about a dragon president.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the. You ever seen the screenshots of that video ranter guy with his dragon Sona?
The what?
You ever seen those where it's like those like YouTube comment people who have like the furry avatars and shit,
I really like this
and then
one.
they have the titles like why pedophilia shouldn't be illegal or stuff like that.
There's a YouTuber I like called Musical Hell who does. It's like her character that she's a demon, that the sins of musicals, and that's funny. They had a guy with a My Little Pony avatar. I'm like, no, because he was fucking obnoxious, and that's coming from me.
Yeah. We actually didn't discuss like what we were going to talk about this episode, but I have a few ideas.
Yeah.
One thing that I just watched before I got here was Video Game Donkey's review of Death Stranding. He gave it a 1 out of 5. Definitely highlighted the worst aspects of the game.
I heard the combat's hot shit.
Yeah, the combat's hot shit. The gameplay is hot shit. Like, I think that he pointed out how the core of the gameplay is like movement and navigating like the terrain, and how it reminded me of the worst aspects of a Rockstar game, like post GTA 4, where you have the engine that's making your character fall over, or like. You like move to the right and you, like just like it's a struggle
you clip
to make
something.
Yeah, it's a struggle to. It doesn't actually look that frustrating, but it looks like a big part of it is realistic movement, which doesn't look fun at all.
You know what I think would be kind of interesting? Make it like not a big game, but a short game where you're like a fucking mountaineer or some shit.
Yeah.
And make like there's a ram or a monster chasing you up the hill.
And just get rid of the story.
Yeah.
He pointed out this one cutscene where Sam, Norman Reedus, is meeting with the woman he's trying to save. And he literally says, so I'm Mario and you're Princess Peach. And then she says, no, I'm Princess Beach. Because, like, they're on a beach. It's like the dumbest thing. And then they, like, start running next to each other, like, frolicking across the shoreline. It reminded me of the montage in The Naked Gun where, like, Leslie Nielsen is like, taking his girlfriend out on dates. And there's I think that spoofs another movie, but... yeah, like it ends with them like running head on with another couple and falling over. There's one part where they're like walking out of a movie theater smiling, and then the camera pans up and it shows Platoon on the marquee.
Oh my god! You know what? The one thing I will say though that's kind of cool about Death Stranding, the idea of setting up stuff that other players can upkeep, so you make it one big union.
Mm-hmm. What I want to wonder is what's going to happen after the servers shut down. Is that just going to be a useless mechanic?
Maybe.
I mean, by then they'll probably have remastered it like 8 times and put it on your toaster.
I don't think Kojima's that greedy yet.
Yeah, I mean...
If it was a Konami, you're getting Death Stranding on Pachinko, where the Pachinko game tilts with you.
Yeah, if Todd Howard made a cameo in Death Stranding, which, as far as we know, that could have very well been a very close possibility.
He voices every character wearing the gas mask suit. What? Reverse the dialogue.
Yeah, it's just that reversed, yeah.
God.
Yeah, talking about Naked Gun, that just makes me like wonder, because I mentioned I picked this Rubik's Cube up at the Walmart, but I passed by a like one of those bargain bin kiosks movies, and they had the Naked Gun trilogy on sale for $5. I'm hoping that they still have that by the time I swing around later, because I love those movies.
You know, I didn't like this movie as a kid because I had no fucking brain, but as an adult, I'm like, now the jokes make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, there's a lot of... I think that the first time I watched The Naked Gun, I was around 13, but I still loved it just because of the visual gags were so funny. And that was like the TV edited version, because I remember I watched the uncut, or the theater uncut version, whatever, the non-TV cut version on Netflix, which is probably taken off by now, which is why I was excited about the DVDs. But anyway, there's a scene that got completely cut out of, I think it's like 3 or 4 minutes worth, where Leslie Nielsen is breaking into the main bad guy, played by Raul Julia's, his hotel, or his suite or whatever. Mm-hmm. He accidentally sets it on fire, and he's climbing out the window, and the TV version cuts off there because the next gag is him like sidling the ledge, and like there's a statue of like this naked guy. He grabs its dick, and then the dick comes off, and he like falls through the window of this woman in lingerie's apartment, and she's like screaming because he's like holding this concrete dildo. And then, like, the next scene where he's being scolded by the police chief, and she's like, breaking and entering, destruction of property, arsonist, and sexual assault by a concrete dildo. But, of course, they cut that line out of the TV version.
Oh, my God.
Which would actually have been funnier if they left the line in. And then it's like, what the hell is she talking about?
You know what I think I want to watch again? I only saw a bit of it, Kentucky Fried Movie.
Oh, yeah. That was actually the first movie that they didn't, like, the same writer-directors of of Airplane and Naked Gun, they were the writers, but John Hughes directed that.
Yeah, I just... The one skit, have you ever seen the one about the zinc disappearing from the world?
No. I actually haven't watched Kentucky Fried Movie. It's one that I've been meaning to get around to.
It's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a bit more just humor, shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't want to spoil the jokes for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that one of the reasons that The Naked Gun that any of the movies don't get brought much anymore is because O.J. Simpson was in them, all three of them.
I forgot that.
Yeah, he plays Nordberg. And I actually think that it's funnier in like the first movie, because in the first movie, every time he's shown on screen, he's getting injured. So at least they have that for it.
God.
Let's see what else. But speaking of movies that movies that
aren't funny
or good or anything, I saw Dr. Sleep, and everybody seems to like. A lot of people seem to like it. I personally hated it. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in a theater. When I was leaving, I was angry. I went to go see it with Grant, and I felt bad because I was just laying into this movie, and he was like, I kind of liked it. I'm like, this movie was the biggest fucking piece of shit ever. And it's like I don't even know. I was telling Grant, like, I didn't even know what kind of movie it was supposed to be. It wasn't. It didn't feel like a horror movie. It wasn't scary. It wasn't a suspense movie because it wasn't suspenseful. The characters were all terrible.
Fantasy. I think they call it magical realism, is what fucking Stephen King
supernatural, does. Urban fan, whatever. It wasn't good either on that part. Sorry,
never mind. You gone?
Like, from what I understand, because I didn't read the book. The book is supposed to be a sequel to The Shining.
Yeah.
And this one, it's both a sequel to the book and a sequel to the movie with Jack Nicholson. And you can tell it's a sequel to the movie because the entire last 30 minutes is just a montage or pretty much a montage of, hey, remember The Shining? Remember the Stanley Kubrick movie? There's a scene where they literally just show the elevator full of blood scene, shot for shot. And they may as well have just used the footage from the original movie, but it's, different updated footage or whatever.
So it looks shittier.
Yeah, it does, actually.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Kubrick knew what the fuck he was doing with that movie.
Mm-hmm. If it is new footage or not new footage, then they definitely like digitally made it look shittier, I guess.
Yeah, let's remake it in fucking CG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, none of the characters, like the main villain, the
lady in the hat.
Yeah, Rose the Hat is literally their moniker or name or whatever.
What the fuck?
And she's not threatening at all. Did
they try doing that thing where, I'm a charming villain, but
yeah, she's supposed to be like charming or quirky,
like Handsome Jack.
Yeah, and they just really dropped the ball with that. Because every time she's I guess the main plot is her trying to get to this little girl who has like super shining powers, and every time she like confronts her in like the dream or whatever, she gets her ass handed to her. So she's not even that threatening villain. It's like
she's persistent.
Yeah. It's
persistent.
They try to. I imagine that her character is more well written in the book, but again, I didn't read the book, so I have to take this as it is. It sort of makes you think about what Jodorowsky said about raping Frank Herbert and how you have to do that to the source material in order to make a good adaptation.
Jodorowsky's amazing.
Yeah.
Did I say it right? Jodorowsky?
Yeah, Jodorowsky.
Yes.
I used to say Jordowski because all those letters were like felt like they were jumbled together, but no.
It's a Polish name, right?
No, it's Spanish.
Spanish. For some reason, that name, I had a neighbor growing up whose name I described as someone sneezed into a bowl of alphabet soup. God, like, what the fuck?
Hey, Brian, look at my alphabets are telling me a message. It says, ooh, here those are Cheerios. That was from like one of the early seasons.
I know. Oh my god. Someone was in a group, in a Discord group I'm in. If you like pay on Patreon, you can post videos in a special section.
Mm-hmm.
A guy paid $25 to post a whole bunch of clips from a random episode of Family Guy, where the whole joke is Peter eating rice cakes. Why? I apologize for yelling, blowing your eardrums out.
Yeah, again.
I'm sorry about that.
The joke is that it's not funny and it's annoying.
Yes.
So, but it's not funny and it's annoying, so
Yeah.
the joke isn't funny. But it's a joke, so, but whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
By the way, did Rose the Hat have a cool hat?
No, it's like it looks like a steampunk hat, where it's like a top hat, kind of, but it's short, I guess.
And it's got the goggles?
No, it doesn't have the goggles. It would have been amazing if they had the goggles.
Make it like shining goggles. You put those, you can see your shine. Shine on, crazy diamonds.
No, I think you're thinking of They Live, where it's like, whatever.
Oh.
Did I ever tell you my pitch for They Live 2?
Ooh, tell me.
It'll be set like 30 or so years after the original They Live, and it would be like shown that after Roddy Piper exposed them all as like destroyed like the cloaking device or whatever, the aliens had like a plan B where they fabricated a story of them being refugees from another distant star system and where they're the victims. So we didn't want to like alarm anyone, but now we have no choice but to beg for your forgiveness and blah blah blah. And then now they run the media and all this stuff, but openly. And so now like this new generation has to like fight against these corporate overlords all over again.
Could I have a suggestion of what the big like act 3 twist would be? Another alien race. Don't trust those. Oh fuck, we're late. And it's like, who do we trust? These aliens or those aliens? And that's all they do is just they're just media mogul aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Their names are Zoff.
The title I had going in mind was They Sleep, or We Sleep, because that was the second half of like They Live, We Sleep is where the title They Live comes from.
That's actually really cool. I like
Yeah.
That's what somebody call fancy.
Yeah. Back on Dr. Sleep. Like there was actually one part where it's where Rose the Hat is psychically invading the little girl Abra's mind. And Abra is an abracadabra because like the first time that she's shown, it's when she's 5 years old and her birthday party as a magician, and then it's shown later that she can like levitate spoons or whatever. It's like, and it's like, but anyway, like this sequence where Rose invades like her mind, she's like transcend, like astral projecting through the sky, and then she lands in her room. But then it's a trap because Abra like pins her or whatever, and it's like she's like super powered and all that crap. But then when Rose the Hat gets like ejected, and she's like flying backwards through space and crash lands back in her body and then flies off the RV that she's laying on top of. It reminded me of I was laughing in the theater because it reminded me of the scene in Beverly Hills Ninja with Chris Farley where he's astral projecting to meet with the monks on the astral plane, but every time he goes back into his body, he's just like hurtling through space and flipping, and then like he lands back in his body and like smashes through the balcony window. And
I wish I could have seen this movie with you.
Yeah, but I wasn't laughing out loud like joyous. It was more like just ha 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 ha, you fucking idiots, you fucking retards.
Have you ever watched something and it makes you laugh like out of pure what the fuckery? Was that one of those moments?
No, it was more like, I'm so angry that I have to just laugh. Right, I have to force a laugh because otherwise I'm just gonna scream.
Why are you laughing in the middle of a child murder scene?
There was a child murder scene in that, and I think that was the only part that was like legitimately unsettling. But other than like that was just one scene of like the whole movie where I'm like, no, this is actually kind of creepy. But then it's back to just crap,
They should have did the ending like what they did in one of the Jason movies, where like Danny brings back Jack Nicholson's corpse to fight Rose the Hat.
No, Jack. They actually. I mean, do you care about spoilers?
Fuck no.
Okay, that actually is the plot. Is that he like the ghosts from the Overlook Hotel through his life, they're like trying to invade his mind, but he learns a trick from the old man who like dies at the end of The Shining.
Yeah.
But he comes back to him as a ghost. He teaches him how to like lock them away in boxes and store them in his mind. And the climax is him like releasing all those ghosts when they get back to the Overlook Hotel to like attack Rose and all that.
Okay, that's kind of a cool concept.
Yeah, it's a cool concept, which I think would probably have been.
I'm just picturing the final one as she lands on a bed panicking, and the dog mask walks in there and she screams and the door slams shut.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's during another like fan service scene where she's like backing him up the stairs, with
the bat.
Yeah,
Give me the bat. Give me the bat.
No, like except Dan has an axe, and then she's like, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna? And it's like this dumb kind of fight scene that happened, and that's after Jack Nicholson, but not Jack Nicholson actually, because it's a guy who kind of looks like Jack Nicholson young in that era. He's the bartender in that version, which is kind of an affecting scene, but like where because like in this in Dr. Sleep, Dan, who's like in his 40s, he's an alcoholic or ex-alcoholic, or he's in like recovering, and Jack offers him a drink, and then he's like, no, I refuse. And it would have been affecting if they actually. I was just mad because they didn't bring back the real Jack Nicholson. It's like, I don't care if he's 80 years old. I want the real Jack Nicholson.
Hey, maybe the Overlook made him old.
Yeah, like, or what I'm imagining is that there's one of two possibilities. Either Jack Nicholson turned them down and said, I don't want to do this.
This script looks up.
Yeah, like this. Like he said, I don't care if I'm doing nothing. I'm too good for this. Or alternatively, they didn't even ask him, which I don't know which makes me more angry. I mean, probably makes me more angry that they didn't even bother asking him.
Can I tell you my Jack Nicholson thing? I didn't realize Destroy All Humans Alien is supposed to be a Jack Nicholson impression until recently. I was watching an interview, and they did one of the interviews with Jack Nicholson, and I'm like, as a fucking crypto! it caught me off guard. Oh my god.
Was Jack Nicholson in a werewolf movie?
I think.
Because they referenced that in an episode of The Critic. I've been I've been like marathoning episodes of The Critic recently. Still holds on. I think I mentioned it. Did I mention it last podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got to the episode where they're making fun of, I guess, the werewolf movie that Jack Nicholson was in. Except in this parody, he turns into a chicken or whatever.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I like when you do something. You know what I would do for... Real quick, this is my pitch for a parody. It's a complete remake of Jaws, just changing names, but it's a cuttlefish. And the little tentacles, like, where is it? And they're on the boat, and it slowly turns visible like the Predator. Dr. Sleep is kind of a cool title.
Yeah.
What's it a reference to?
It's that Dan works at a hospice center, and like he psychically communicates with people who are about to die, and they start calling him doctor or whatever. Like you have to go to sleep.
Dr. Sleep.
Yeah. And
hey, that's kind of morally objectable. Like, hey, old bitch, die already, grandma.
Yeah, like again, like there are some interesting, like the way it goes about is that like there's a cat that lives at the hospice, and like whoever is about to die, the cat goes to them, and then like he goes to follow the cat, and then he sits by the bed while the old person dies.
I'm just picturing like in another universe that he's killing old people so that their family gets the insurance quicker.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept that again would have been
wasted.
better in the book, I imagine.
I think it.
I don't even know. Like
Stephen King doesn't really adapt the screen all that well sometimes.
Yeah, which is why The Shining is seen as one of the best, because even though it's a bad adaptation, it's a really, really good movie.
My top three are The Shining is number 3, number 2 is the new It, the first part 1, and number 1 would probably be Stand By Me.
Oh yeah, that's.
Misery's number 4. Misery can jump around with Shining.
I like the reference to Misery in one of the Critic episodes, where he like falls in love with a projectionist lady, but she turns out that she's like a psycho fanatic about him. And she like ties him up in their bed.
You know, Kathy Bates is fucking amazing.
What?
Kathy Bates is fucking amazing. That fucking hobbling scene gets me every time. I don't think it would have been as scary if she was more over the top psycho. It's more about, you know what they used to do to the people? They call it a hobbling. I do a lot of sound effects when we're not filming. I don't know why. God. You know what I did? I'm going to slowly veer the topic into something
Sure.
I'm familiar with.
Go ahead.
I got Game Pass. I downloaded Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel. My experience with Borderlands was my friend had Borderlands 1. It was my friend Colin, who was a bit of a dick knob. And I played, I'm the Mexican guy with the bird. Woo! And playing it, and I kind of like Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel. I why not just call it Borderlands 3?
I mean, there is a Borderlands 3.
But I mean, call that Borderlands 4. I got confused over which game first.
Yeah.
But the thing I will say about the games, it's got some good lines. My personal favorite, son of a taint. I like looter shooters.
Yeah.
I think the concept of a Diablo looter shooter wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Make it like crossbows.
Yeah. Do you think it should be called Diablo 4, though?
Oh, it's not going to be Diablo 4.
Okay.
Diablo 4 is a straight-up Diablo game.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch the BlizzCon thing. So.
I saw the gameplay trailer, and I heard the word microtransactions are considering being implemented. I'm like, okay, what are they going to do? Do you wish to buy the premium skins for your barbarian waifu? Well, no, the barbarian's not a waifu unless they're like big bearded Nord men. But like... It looks good, and that's my issue, is you can't pirate it because it's going to be an MMO light. And I'm like, hey, I used to like Blizzard.
I mean, wasn't that the same with Diablo 3? Wasn't that always
Yeah,
one?
that's why they do it. And it makes sense to me, but at the same time, why does it have to be always the shitty companies that do shit like that? Because they know.
Yeah.
They know. You ever play Diablo?
No, actually.
Can I give you a recommendation?
Sure.
Try Diablo 2.
Okay.
Diablo 2 is my favorite. I would recommend getting the DLC so you can get up a Necromancer, who's pretty cool.
I've heard it's the best.
Yeah. It's also probably one of my favorite games ever because there's a hidden cow level, and that's all I'm going to say.
I think didn't they put that in because people were saying that the first game had a cow level and there wasn't?
Yeah. Oh, also, there's a hidden one. I haven't played Diablo 3, but there's a hidden area called Whimsyshire, where it's like rainbows, and there's a enemy with a cloud vomits rainbows on you.
Yeah.
I like shit like that.
Yeah. Cow level, it makes me think of like all those like insane rumors about video games that were back in the 90s and 2000s.
You know why shit like that exists? Because of the Digimon game, for example. There's like a Digimon to evolve. You have to like walk 900 times, hit this object 3 times, spin around, talk to this character, train it to this stat, and make it shit on the floor 6 times. And then it digivolve.
Yeah. The one I think of is unlocking Mewtwo in Melee, Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Oh, how'd you do that in Melee?
You had to leave the console on for like 24 hours or something.
Oh, fuck, I remember that.
Yeah.
Because my sister said, hey, Zach, check this out. And she turned on the Game Boy and like, wait, or GameCube, like, hey, what's going on? You'll see tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
Oh. And then I fucking trashed his ass as Donkey Kong.
Uh-huh.
Donkey Kong was the best. I always pick low tier characters. It's like my magnet. It's like my power. You know how they have the thing where like they have like you put the canary in the coal mine. I'm the canary for low tier characters.
Yeah. I also remember how to unlock Luigi in Super Mario 64. Remember the because there was that
Elizreal.
Yeah, Elizreal 2041 or something, whatever.
Yeah.
It was like a blurred number or something that people thought it was, but I can't remember if I think Nintendo did comment on that years later.
I think Reggie did actually.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Did you see his interview? He did a interview pretty recently at a convention. It was, and of course, somebody asked him about Mother 3. It's like, do you have any last comments on Mother 3? And
what did he say?
He said, I'm very thankful that it's no longer no longer my job to deal with those questions. And now it's Doug's job.
Okay.
Fuck you, Doug.
Can I tell you what I would do if Reggie got added to Smash? Do you know how I would do if that happened? Here'd be the trailer. It wouldn't start out Smash, right? You see like a Mother 3 announcement, and then Reggie punches through the screen and just Thanos snaps everyone. Also, I have to mention this. Someone pointed out, so you know the meme about Bayonet and Joker and from Smash? that Dante and Bayonet, if you combine them, equals Joker. And now that I see that, I can't get that out of my head. I'm sorry. I just love how people add on the games in weird ways.
Isn't Dante supposed to be in an upcoming fighting game or something?
I hope he's in Smash. Can you imagine that? Hey, what Nintendo? Oh my, because he's already on the Switch now. It better be in Devil May Cry 5 Dante. His ultimate attack is he pulls out he spins in circles, rolling the coal in his motorcycle while drinking a Monster.
No, it'll be Devil May Cry 2 Dante, which is why they released that on the Switch.
Oh.
Now it's and he's just not gonna have any dialogue lines except.
It could be the remake Dante. I have come to terms with him. I call him Dante. I actually wouldn't mind a sequel to his game, but here's what I would do: make it like Sonic, like one of the, like Sonic Heroes or Sonic Mania, where he meets the real Dante. Real Dante's like, "All right, kids, sit up and shut up. I'll show you how to do this."
I think it's Sonic Generations.
Sonic Generations.
Yeah.
There's too many Sonic games with the concept of multiple characters, but that's what you meant. Yeah.
There's way too many games that I need to play right now. I've just been playing No Man's Sky.
Okay, I've been playing State of Decay 2. I love it so much because I play it online. And my favorite moment was how people basically play the game is you bait the zombie to grab someone else, and then you stab him in the head. Back grab is an instant execution, except on... Well, I used to play the first one, and there's a monster called a Pharaoh. You have a hunter from Left 4 Dead, right? Picture if you took the hunter and stretched him out, so he's basically very tall, he used to be able to one-shot you. State of Decay 2, it's like, if you only have a knife, you can still jab him to death, which is amazing. It makes him feel powerful.
Speaking of Left 4 Dead, did you see about Valve's announcement?
Oh, yeah, the one about their new Half-Life game?
Yeah, the VR one. It's apparently it's just titled Half-Life Alyx.
You think it's going to be their version of Half-Life 3?
I mean, we'll find out tomorrow, which is when they're going to post more details about it.
And if it is Half-Life 3?
It won't be Half-Life 3. It might be a prequel to Half-Life 3, or maybe a prequel to...
Imagine if it's basically just Hunt Down the Freeman, but good. It's the complete same story. You even get Penguin back, or Spider Cynical.
Yeah, if I had to guess what it's going to be about, I would say it's going to be set before Half-Life 2, where Alex is being trained to shoot and play catch with dog or whatever. I'm just picturing them just figuring out VR mechanics, or I think it might have more gameplay stuff than just a tech demo because I think that we might be past or approaching the threshold of tech demos for VR. Seems like Valve would want to take that extra step.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. I mean, this is Artifact Valve and not Half-Life Valve, though, so we'll have to see exactly what they're planning. I'm really not... I'm sort of done with having any optimism for the Half-Life series at this point, so my brain immediately goes to the worst-case scenario with them.
You know what I would actually like? Okay, I want to talk about Left 4 Dead a bit because Valve, I'm a fan of good times. If they did a Left 4 Dead free, here's what I would do for a pitch. Add a third thing to it. Human survivors and maybe a renegade survivor. Maybe a new entity of sorts.
You'd have two teams competing against each other.
Yeah. And so in that case, maybe even have, new undead. No, it would be cool. You take your standard undead, but based on what you do, if you gain enough, XP or whatever, your monster can, the smoker gets extra long tongues, or the tank gets 4 arms or some shit like that, like they evolve, Left 4 Dead 3.
I can kind of picture it being set long after Left 4 Dead 2. Kind of like you ever seen Land of the Dead, George Romero? Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fucking awesome.
I don't see enough movies or zombie movies like that, or even zombie games or whatever, where it's society long after the apocalypse. They've rebuilt or regrouped or whatever.
I just want to picture Bill is the namesake of they call this Billandia. Bill's. Oh no! Do you know who the one character I hope returns? Coach. Coach walks out and he's got a fucking robot leg.
I lost it because I ate a whole helicopter made of chocolate.
God. I hope. It'd be cool. Have all the characters return, but you could play like make it like the Big Leap or some. No, don't call it the Big Leap. The Hong Kong fans are like, oh no. The Big Leap Forward was China's big communist movement in China that destroyed all of our culture.
All right.
Call it like the Big Jump or whatever, and have like you can play as Bill and coach him, and you get the new characters. Maybe like the Renegade faction could be like. Maybe instead of, because the obvious one would be make them government, make them like soldiers returning, but make them like other survivors who think we shouldn't, suck and share with you, bitch. But don't make them evil.
Yeah, I'm just glad, at least on some level, that Valve is making games again that aren't card games. You ever seen that the announcement video of Artifacts?
What is that?
Where it's Artifacts, their card game. They were trying to compete with Blizzard with Hearthstone, and when they announced it, when Valve announced it, then everybody was booing them.
Oh, I love it. I just want them to boo Blizzard now. Blizzard's a fucking smokescreen deployed. Overwatch 2. God. Blizzdrone is the perfect way to describe the they can't have a transactions, but Overwatch can, because Overwatch does it good.
When it comes to Blizzard, it feels like they're just mocking us. Like they know they know that they can get away with it.
Who's that long-haired fuck who did the apology?
I don't know his name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, did you know in the Chinese they censor the LGBT tag he's wearing? Like, oh. Come on, you trying to suck the sickle and hammer anymore?
Yeah, that's what they censor it with, is just a circle with the circle.
They're just like little Chairman Mao.
Oh, yeah.
God. No, wait, that's Kim Jong-un. That's the wrong dictator. Switch.
Yeah, cut the feed.
God. The only thing that Overwatch 2 looks like hot garbage to me. It actually looked bad to me. I bet you were going to kill Soldier 76. Kill one of the 3 characters I play, goddamn you.
Well, they can't kill him because he's gay.
Oh, fuck. That reminds me. So there's this article that came out by this dude that says, I hate Overwatch because I played Silver 76, someone called me a faggot, and that means that he's attacking me because of 76. I have a friend who is gayer than a rainbow, who said, no, he's just a fucking pansy with his words. This dude... I just...
Reminds me of the extra credits video where they're like complaining about playing Battlefield and like having to play as the Nazis.
Who else are you gonna fucking play World War II?
It was like, I didn't ask to play as a Nazi. You're forcing me into this role. It's like you're basically just the red team though. It doesn't matter
Are you saying the red team's evil?
I mean, yeah, but if you made that same argument where it's like, I didn't ask to play as a gay character, you'd be a homophobe.
Yeah, I understand, that there's different levels of sensitivity around topics.
Yeah, fuck it all.
Also, yeah, what else? Okay, I'm gonna say this. Hunter memes, my new favorite one is there's a fusion of Hunter boomers. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
I saw the king of them. It is being married is like being chained to the bear and kicking that bear in the nuts. Dude's not even married, and I'm like, oh, God, he's a Zoomer.
The only time my wife is allowed into my woodshed is when I decide to murder her.
I will mount her next to my axis. My favorite thing is this dude was talking about, there's something wrong with this white-tailed deer where I live. Why? This deer just kept shitting all day, and the guy has of his one deer. That deer, dude, just fucking shoot me already.
Yeah. Or at least, piss a circle around your house to keep it away.
No, he's hunting it.
Yeah. Oh.
But if you're hunting it, just fucking shoot the thing.
Okay. I thought he was complaining it was hanging around his property.
Oh, no, my favorite one is this dude. This dude is fucking pissing thunder and lightning because, oh, my God, there's a herd of whitetail 30 feet from my house. If I had the tags, I would have shot him. And they were going to say, put corn in your field. Just grow some corn so when they eat it, shoot the deer. And don't just harvest the corn and let it rot. Was his answer. And I'm like, wow, you're both cunts.
What was that you were going to say about genres?
Oh, maybe do you want to talk about a genre or a movie or something that you really want to get into but you couldn't?
Yeah, the first one that comes to mind is westerns.
I agree. It depends on the Western, like fucking Red Dead 2,
Yeah. I mean the movies, because
But yeah.
I think the only one that I've watched front to back was the Searchers, John Wayne.
Yeah.
And there's some good ones that I've heard came out. Like Bone Tomahawk is the first one that comes to mind. Heard that was really good. What else? Wait, Cowboys and Aliens, that doesn't really count.
My favorite thing, I came to this realization, cowboys are the American samurai. There's weebs for both.
Yeah. That's another genre that it's not one that it's one that I've been meaning to get into. Because I was actually just thinking when I woke up, because I remember hearing that the Criterion Collection has their own streaming service now. And that I know that there are some Akira Kurosawa movies on there.
Yeah.
I mean, those are, like, just even from a cinematography standpoint, they're timeless. So I've been meaning to, like, get my free trial and, like, fill up my queue with a bunch of movies, watch them, and get out.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think of it's like buying a movie ticket and then like hanging around the movie theater all day, just like bumming enough movies until they catch you.
You see, I was looking for my keys.
Mm-hmm. The only difference is that they have the streaming services, like, they have short-term memory, so you can just come back, but you have to pay or whatever, or you pay a fine.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
What genres for you?
To be honest, one that I always really want to get into, I always really want to get into war films.
There's some good ones.
Yeah. I think the only one I've watched was Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, yeah. I was about to mention that, yeah.
Because fucking early,
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, yeah. There's one with Saving Private Ryan. That's a good one.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I guess that kind of counts.
Yeah.
I was Wonder Woman, that takes place World War One.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was actually remembering, or I was watching the Dick Show, their most recent episode. No, I think it was the one. Whatever. It was the one where he's interviewing Goose Wayne, the guy who thought he was Batman and was on Dr. Phil. And I think, like, he was sort of putting on a show, though. It's not like he's actually that delusional. He was just trying to get attention. And his fiance, like, helped him get on the show and just do this phony interview with Dr. Phil. And he was talking, or like Dick and Sean, they were asking his fiance, like, if she could tell them what year World War One took place in. And their thesis, I guess you could call it, is that if you ask your average woman when World War One took place, they'll always answer wrong. Like 99% of them will say it was like in 1933 or 1945. And then when she said it was that's 1945, I think, and they're like, well, okay, when did World War II take place? She's like, can I take my last answer back? Because, like, everybody knows that World War II was in 1939 to 1945.
You know what I kind of...
Or it's 1938, whatever. It depends on... Like, we got into it in 1941, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. America!
I think I keep track of... World War One by remembering Red Dead Redemption. Now that took place in 1911, and then the flash forward was at the beginning of World War One, so that was 1914.
God, isn't it amazing, kind of how close together history was at that point? We got our shit together.
Yeah.
Senator Armstrong here. All it takes is war to stimulate the economy. Yeah. Break some eggs. Mm-hmm. Fucking Senator Armstrong is one of my favorite villains. If I could, I just want to picture like a children's show starring him. Like, tell us about the economy, and he walks out there and starts beating a guy in a Muppet suit to death. You gotta break some eggs. And Raiden's off screen watching in mild disgust.
Mm-hmm. I was telling you about. I said it on the last episode, right? About Bear in the Big Blue House.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I never watched it just because it's fucking creeped me out.
But
Yeah, the thing is, like, it's like the first shot you see of the show is the door, like dead center in the middle of the frame. Then he opens it up. He's like right there in the center. His eyes just unblinking, and he's just like it's just like huge figure, just like hunched over all the time.
they did live shows where he'd go around.
Jesus Christ! Like I
He's
know
got
that.
a predator's grin, the
Yeah.
predator stare.
Or no, it's like, does he smile? Does him
Kind
smile?
of.
Okay, because yeah, it's like the same expression, right? But it reminds me of Ralph the Movie Maker did a video about like him, like Barney scared the shit out of him as a kid, and he would have nightmares. It's funny because like I grew up with like my mom. According to my mom, I don't remember much of it, but according to my mom, I was obsessed with Barney.
I was too. The dinosaur, it's a dinosaur.
That was before I was into Power Rangers. So, do you remember Arthur? Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I did the wrong hand sign.
Oh, I thought you were doing that on purpose. The circle.
Oh, kind of. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I did that in accident. I forgot how the hand was.
Yeah.
Yep, I know Arthur. I remember going like, wow. I wonder, like, I remember when they have like a celebrity go up there and you go, what the fuck?
Uh-huh.
Did your parents like fucking animal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's also. See, I was going to mention. Because like speaking of celebrities, Captain Planet had a lot of big name celebrities on it.
I like the idea of the Captain Planet.
Yeah. Let's see. There was Jeff Goldblum played one of the villains. I think not Joan River, but like some like big name actress played the blonde lady with the burned up face.
Yeah.
And
I
James Earl Jones was a voice. Oprah voiced the Gaia, their headquarters commander or whatever.
Who would win a battle, the Power Rangers or Captain Planet?
Probably Power Rangers, just because they're cooler. I mean,
can I tell you something that you got me thinking of when you talk about Power Rangers?
Mm-hmm.
So apparently in the new Godzilla movie, Godzilla speaks a shred of English. He says Mothra. Because, have you seen King of the Monsters?
Yeah.
When Mothra dies and she puts her magic love dust in him, his roar sounds like saying, Mothra! And I'm like, oh no!
Then Ghidorah goes, "Why did you say that name?"
I was waiting for that. There was someone in the fucking sound production booth like, get on this. We have to make this one joke.
Mm-hmm.
They're saving that for King Kong, though.
Who do you think's going to win in that one?
I think it's going to... Now, they said it's going to be one winning, so it's not going to be, there's a new enemy, and Kong and Godzilla do the nod, and then they do the fusion dance into, like, a Kong.
Mm-hmm.
I think, personally, it's going to probably be Godzilla. Mm-hmm. I hope it's Godzilla, because, Kong won last time.
Yeah. I think, I mean, you're talking about the one from the 80s?
Yeah, or no, from the 60s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, where Godzilla only lost his Kong when he did the fucking Raiden grab from Mortal Kombat where he electrocutes you.
Yeah, do you think he's going to have electric powers in King of the Monsters?
I think it would be fucking amazing, because here's what I would do. Here's my twist. They take King Ghidorah's head and inject Ghidorah cells into Kong, and Kong starts doing the fucking... And as they're fighting and that lightning charges up, Godzilla gets, like, Nam flashbacks.
Mm-hmm. I'm picturing it like they have Kong in the lab, and then he's like in like a drug-induced coma. Yeah. He opens his eyes and he sees the head being preserved in the room next to him, and he just like instinctively punches it, and like he grabs its like brain, and then it's like injects him with the powers through that.
That'd be awesome. You know what I think would also be cool though is if during a fight. I hope Rodan, doesn't, like, do the betray thing. I hope Rodan is, like, the fucking, not announcer, but he's the one that's the intermediary between the other monsters. Like, look at this shit! Look at this fight! And Mothra's kid, because the credit said she had an egg, but Mothra's like, fucking rip out his uterus, Godzilla! I'm sorry. The Mothra Godzilla meme is probably my favorite because I just picture Mothra being that, like, the quiet girl, like, motherfucking kill that cunt. Ah! I'm saying that word a lot. I was watching a lot of British television. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
There's this Irish show on BBC that apparently says that the C-U-N-T word a few times.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're able to do that in Britain more freely, I guess.
I think the FCC is a pile of shit myself.
Yeah. Back in Captain Planet, I'm surprised that they haven't rebooted that yet.
Because there's no commercialism for it.
Is Ted Turner still alive?
I'm sorry, if he's not, I'm just picturing he's being preserved in a cryogenic tube.
Yeah, they cut off his head and froze it at the bottom of Turner Broadcasting or whatever the big whatever Turner Broadcast owns, or they don't own a theme park or whatever. I wonder if they're owned by Disney at this point. Probably. I don't know.
I think what's going to happen if they aren't owned by Disney, he's going to like have all the Turner broadcast towers turn into a robot body, and all the Disney ones turn into, and it's just powered by Walt Disney and Turner going to fight, giant robot style.
It's gonna be the real King of the Monsters battle or whatever.
And it just cuts to Toho Studios like, they don't know about us yet, do they? Man.
But yeah, I lost my train of
I
thought.
think if they do a reboot, it was probably going to play up like how we're a bunch of strangers that don't know each other.
Kind of like the Power Rangers movie reboot.
Yeah, and it's going to have, they're going to do like fire, water, air, wind, heart. No, it's going to be love or whatever, because they're going to try and play it up more. They're going to make him the secret badass.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, same what they did with Aquaman, trying to fix him.
Oh, I like the Jason Momoa Aquaman.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the point was made a while back, before the movie, was how Aquaman's gotten sort of the short end of the stick because people just kind of associated him with the Super Friends show from the 1960s. And of course, like, Family Guy ran that joke into the ground.
Yeah.
So it sort of cemented Aquaman as a shitty character, but only because people weren't doing like good stuff with him.
My mom, that's a dumb character, and when she saw Jason Momoa, she's like, we have to watch this.
Yeah,
Now.
you gotta appeal to the plebs somehow. People who don't read comics, aka normal, healthy people.
Oh, good. I'm like, you got my mama pleb? I kill you. I kill people for less. I have not killed anyone.
Yeah, it's more my hatred for comics and comic fans than anything else.
God. People who are like, Dark Souls is the epitome of a true game. You see, if they put in easy mode, all of a sudden, the women win. I heard someone actually said, the women win.
I mean, yeah, you get that from like both sides, where it's like the male fantasy, women.
Those people need to fuck each other and leave.
Yeah, it's like, but you know what recent game has been compared to Dark Souls?
What?
The new Jedi Fallen Order.
I saw that. There's one thing. Here's my one big gripe. When you hit them with a lightsaber and kill them, you should cut them up like Metal Gear style.
Well, yeah, like it reminds me of it made me think of Jedi Academy or the Jedi Knight series where you could do that.
Yeah, you'd be fucking awesome. Have you seen the double saber one?
Um,
There's apparently a double saber in the game.
Okay.
That's fucking awesome. Be like Darth Maul.
Uh-huh.
I only wish you could make the character an alien.
I mean, yeah, you could do that, like all that in Jedi Academy, where it's like you could get the double lightsaber from the start. You could have dual sabers from the start.
Yeah, maybe filter the voice. I mean, I don't know. You could play as the alien that Clo Plune was. Do you know who Clo Plune is? I didn't know. I had to Google him because I was playing the alien. Like, who the fuck is that? Oh my god, it's the dude. He had the robot mouth and you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You never was a Hutt Jedi? I went there to be a Hutt in the new movie. If somehow someone at Disney went mad and accidentally picked me, I would like to.
Never mind. Go ahead.
I would like to be the guy who writes a new Star Wars movie. In Rise of Skywalker, I would have a Hutt Jedi who's this big, massive Jabba-looking motherfucker who's like, I am a fat motherfucker. But I know the light of a force, and his force power that he uses the force to flay himself at people. Doesn't even need a lightsaber half the time. He just crushes stormtroopers beneath him.
Yeah.
Make him like Jabba's cousin if you want to make it like, oh look, it's interconnected lore.
Have you watched The Mandalorian?
I have not. But I'm thinking about it heavily.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait to activate my Disney Plus free trial for probably a month from now, when they hopefully have most of the bugs fixed.
Yeah.
And then you can watch The Simpsons in the intended format as God intended.
I did see Baby Yoda.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring
He's
up.
fucking adorable. See, that's the issue.
Buy the plush version of this for Christmas. Remember, that's coming up soon. I wonder if they already have those dolls in bulk.
They made the doll and said, "Put this in a movie." And then Jon Favreau said yes. Jon Favreau's cool.
Yeah, Yes Master.
I didn't want to go that far because I like
He's
him.
kneeling in front of a hologram of Mickey Mouse.
No, it's a Mickey Mouse helmet on Darth Vader's body,
Uh-huh.
and when you pull it off, it's just fucking. It's Walt Disney's cryogenically frozen head. Hey, what was?
And then when he dies, he comes back as Hayden Christensen.
Oh my God, no! That's a horror story. Oh my God. You know what I think would be kind of cool though if they for a Star Wars thing, a game. Here's my pitch: have a game where you play as like a Mandalorian. You're basically that Boba Fett game, but you pick your bounties on different planets. And if you don't pick one bounty, the others progress the plot further.
You know, there was a video game like that in development. It was called Star Wars 1313, and it got canceled when EA bought the studio or the license to it.
Fuck you, EA.
Yeah.
EA is basically, if it was a monster, it's that monster that, if it was one of the creatures in Nightmare Before Christmas, it's the one that lurks under your bed with eyes glowing, or with teeth ground sharp and eyes glowing red.
Yeah.
Who creeps out of your house at night to ruin everything that you love.
So they did the Star Wars Battlefront games instead. But we did get Jedi Fallen Order.
Is it good?
I've heard it's good. I heard it has a really good ending, which I don't really hear a lot from I heard from Mr. Philo on Twitter. So yeah, it was an interesting comment. I haven't heard something like that from when describing a video game in a while.
I think Spider-Man had a good ending.
Yeah.
I didn't like the ending. No. The ending got me conflicted. Spider-Man wouldn't abandon Doc Ock. He wouldn't have. But at the same time, it got tears out of me. Made me cry like a fucking baby with mechanical arms. I mean, the boss fight was kind of shitty, but, I still liked it.
Yeah. I'm wondering if that version of Peter Parker is going to appear in Spider-Verse 2.
That would be awesome. You know what would be also kind of cool? I want to see Superior Spider-Man, the one where fucking Doc Ock Spider-Man. And he's trying to blend in.
Oh, yeah.
You have, we have to stop this Venom guy. And then you have, let's pork him, or whatever Peter Parker said.
Let's pork him.
Yeah.
That's an unfortunate phrase.
Intentional, too. And then it cuts to, Superior. Let's reverse the gravitation on his suit and rip him apart piece by piece. And they all look at him. He says, or we can beat him up.
And it cuts to Spider's Man. He's just like, let's not eat him.
God, I want Spider-Man in that, but I want him to be a good guy. Sorry we ate you. Oh my God. He makes little, he communicates through web things at times. And he goes sorry we ate one of you. We don't know which one.
Yeah. Somebody suggested, was it you or me? Because I feel like we brought this up, was the Japanese Spider-Man. But it's just him in live action. It's like a live action guy on green screen.
I think you did, because that's too brilliant for me to come up with.
I might have seen that from a Twitter post, so I might have stolen that. But
hey, do you know what'd be amazing? The Hulkverse. And all it is 10 minutes of them beating the shit out of Kingpin.
I thought I was going to say them beating each other until they're all go back to Bruce Banner, unless or I don't know. I don't know enough about the Hulk to make any funny jokes about it.
All I know is the Hulk has some really good video games.
Oh yeah, Ultimate Destruction is a classic.
I love the Hulk because Hulk. You know what I think my favorite scene, or one of my favorite scenes in any movie is? You know that Ang Lee Hulk movie? Remember when have you seen it?
Yeah.
The sound where he's fighting the Absorber Man in the final scene, and they replicate all of the Hulk's big battles. I'm like, wow, that was fucking cool.
Yeah, I think I mentioned before that the first time I watched that, the only time I watched it was on this shitty CRT TV at my dad's place. And it was so dark that I couldn't see what the hell was going on.
Yeah. But it was a cool scene.
I'll take your word for it.
Look up on YouTube. Like, I'll send a link to you.
Sure.
Because I like a good fight in a movie. Hulk, the Incredible Hulk had a good fight too. The Abomination, that big fucking knock him down, but apparently took place in Harlem. Yeah, I want to see. They shot a scene in Luke Cage like where say, "What the fuck is going on out there?" And he opens the door, and it's Abomination fucking up Hulk, and he's like, "I ain't opening this door again."
You want to talk about projects we're both working on?
Yeah. You want to go first?
Sure. Like I said before, I got that NaNoWriMo comic that I've been working on. It's been pretty rough lately. Just need to find my bearings. I guess I've been putting that on hold for the last week just because it's been difficult to focus on it or focus on what the hell I'm doing with it. Right now, I just want to get as much done. I don't think the whole thing is going to be done by the end of the month. I'll get as much done as I can. Last night I put together just a piece, regular drawing piece cover thing for one of the characters from Yesterday Kids, and I felt pretty good about that. Trying to experiment with painting in Clip Studio. But I ended up just finishing it relatively quickly. It's just trying to get my workflow to the point where I can finish stuff as quickly as possible while making it look as good as I can. And yeah, I've just been more drawn back to the main comic, I guess. I've also been wanting to do some. There's a short comic that I had in mind that I wanted to do, also set in the same universe. Sort of the early days of the main characters.
Yeah,
So them in third grade or fifth grade or whatever.
You'd be kind of cool with that. You could introduce Tycho. Tycho doesn't know him yet before he went all Marauder.
I mean, I don't know if I want to go that far because I know that there are some parts of the comic that sort of deal with destiny and that stuff. I want to keep that to a minimum though.
Oh yeah.
I don't want it to be everything is connected and blah blah blah.
There's
There are some major plot points that do sort of revolve around or at least comment on the theme of destiny. I think that's more down the road though. I have this whole thing mapped out, so it's kind of probably jarring for the average. I mean, after my comics even halfway done, it'll be fun for people to go back and listen to this and be like, oh, that's what he was building up from this to this from the start. And I already have the main the whole story mapped out, outlined, I guess, to where even down to where there's 3 arcs to the whole thing. So the first arc is me building up these characters. The second arc is releasing these characters into the world to go on into adventures. Third arc is breaking these characters down. So make of that what you will. And that's that's still quite a ways off.
Half of making a city is half of bringing one down.
Yeah. And I do want to. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do this NaNoWriMo thing, is just to gauge my workflow and sort of analyze what I can do better, how I can improve, what I'm doing wrong. I want to be able to nip these problems in the bud going forwards, and I would like to have a finished issue of a comic, or 2 or 3 issues of a comic to be sold at a convention, probably at Neo Comic Con next year. I would love to have that, and that's what I'm actually aspiring to get done.
I at least want to get prints of my stuff done.
Yeah,
a couple of prints of characters.
You said you're working on. You got 20 pages written.
No, 20 panels.
Okay.
That's not as cool.
Okay.
That's 4 pages, but in one fucking day.
Oh yeah.
Well, whatever. Basically, here's how it started. Yeah, Bright's a good movie. No, it's not. Well, if you can't write something better, fucking shut up. That's how it went. That's the gist of it. Mm-hmm. So here's sort of my idea. Urban fantasy comes in 2 flavors, and that flavor is we've always existed and no one knows about us, or we came over and no one knows about us. Mm-hmm. If we are know about us, it's happened from the beginning. So that's the different parables. Here's my pitch. In 1970s, monsters appeared one day. Fantasy creatures. And they basically, after, of course, the whole language disconnect got solved, it became clear these people are immigrants from another reality that got destroyed. And the world has been shaped by this. And in this world, in different parts, they made laws, for example, orcs can't raid, but they get preferential treatment for being picked for sports teams, especially hockey and football. Bugbears can't eat people, but they are given food stamps for pork, stuff like that. Well, it follows in the Midwest is known. Cleveland is known as Goblin Town because the goblins love the climate. It follows the entire police force is almost entirely goblin. The CPD or CLPD. I don't know what Cleveland's acronym is off the top of my head. And it follows a bugbear who is, he's the grizzled old one. Oh, I know all these motherfuckers here, and the only human they have on their roster. And humans can't become wizards because I hate that. Oh, I'm a human. I can cast magic. Well, you're not fucking human then. But my whole idea is exploring a world that has a weird tension built around why does this one group get to make the rules? Because you know how in a lot of the settings they do the thing where humans are more numerous? Not in this world. There's millions of goblinoids in America. There's millions of elves in Asia. Oh, by the way, they're weebs. And also the president is a dragon, just so I can make one joke. I am fire! I am death! I am commander-in-chief! But my idea is that even though I have this humor, I want to play with this idea of almost to take on immigration, views on how tribalisms of societies, because you can tell I'm talking over my head. But I want to tell a true story. I want to tell a story from a point of view you don't get to see. A goblin who's no longer being pushed around by a big bad evil overlord.
Yeah, the theme stuff. That does. I hate to detract from your thing and bring it back to me, but
go back.
I do struggle with the same thing, or at least I've been thinking about the same thing with my comic, is that I know that working on the Collapse, the NaNoWriMo thing, it's a very dark story that's set in the Stray Kids universe, and the main story of the Stray Kids is mostly lighthearted, at first at least, until I'll eventually start introducing those sort of darker, more mature intellectual themes, I think tribalism is actually one of the themes in the Stray Kids, to where, I guess the overall message would be that it's a good thing for countries to separate and sort of be smaller or whatever. At least how I see it. And another one is, it's not important right now, but I think that's finding the right balance of comedy and commentary or reflection.
Comedy-tary.
Yeah. Or dramedy, I guess. I don't know. That's not really the tone that I'm going for, but yeah, again, finding the right tone is difficult when you're trying to find when you're working on a story like that.
I may be biased as a motherfucker about some things like immigration, for example. We're all fucking immigrants. But I understand. But my idea of the comics, I want to look at it objectively.
Yeah.
Because this is a world where say, without the goblins, we wouldn't have the goblin riots of 1988. Which sounds funny, but they fucking burned down the White House twice. But at the same time, I want to look at the things objectively.
Yeah. From my viewpoint, it's you can't really have a melting pot without destroying the culture that you come from.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, because... I don't know. It's this is stuff that goes through my head every day when I think about the stories I'm trying to tell, or even just my perception of the world around me. I just look at stuff how people just especially nowadays. I hate to be the black pilled kind of guy, but I don't think I am black pilled. It's more. You familiar with that term?
Kind of. I know what it is.
It's
I heard it. I know what the term is.
Yeah, it's sort of giving up on society, being everything's shitty, nothing's ever going to get accomplished, may as well tear it all down, blah, blah, blah. And some days I feel like that, but I think most of the day I'm things are going to get better before they get worse, da-da-da.
I'm the guy of glasses full, half water, half air, take it as you will.
Yeah.
I have days where I'm an optimist, a pessimist. Some days I'm a cynicist.
Yeah, and I think that is it's a realist way to like look at the world. I think that's I think that's probably a good thing to look at the world objectively and all that.
Another thing I do want to play at is how capitalism affects, different cultural things. Like, a joke I have that starts out as a joke is that there is an orc company done by orcs, supposedly, that is replacement tusks. And then they find out it isn't done by orcs, but it's done by this shady bugbear company that no one knows a lot about. That happens to be creeping... Disney. That keeps be creeping in everyone's pot. Yeah. Even though it's set in pretty much modern day, it's not modern day. It's got that weird archaic element that I like.
Right. I mean, one of the recent comic, like that short comic that I mentioned, which is going to be done by the time this airs, mark my words. So
I'll hold you to this.
Yeah, the comic that I'm doing is sort of a fleshing out of the cultural identity of the Yesterday Kids worlds, how I see because the future idea is that after World War III and all these wars, people have decided or America especially has decided to sort of regress back to let's hold up these values and all this stuff, sort of the opposite. The idea is that it's a women's health class that Rhea's in, and the teacher is and they're teaching girls to find the right husband and be you don't die alone. You think that's funny? Look, this is a picture of a woman who died in her home from loneliness. She had 50 cats. This is what happened to her face. Oh God, where are her teeth?
I think my favorite, a joke that I'm fucking proud of is I want to have the thing where the big joke I want to do is the fucking down the Goblin Town, the Hobbit, but Lord of the Rings exists in this universe.
Really?
Because it was written in 1937.
Okay.
Because if they came over in the 70s. And I reference this with, in polite company, if there is a goblinoid in the group, you do not mention Tolkien. Tolkien gets him antsy. And it's not because of, oh no, we're fine with killing and murder. Look at our history. But he calls orcs goblins and uses the term interchangeably. And that's where they draw the line.
Yeah. But there's no Shrek in this universe, right?
Actually, no.
Okay.
I might actually do a joke where it is Shrek, but they casted a real ogre.
Yeah, because that was one of the big complaints about Bright. There's because Will Smith references Shrek, and he calls one of the orcs Shrek, and it's wait, Shrek exists in this universe? Is that the orc version of blackface in this universe? Is that racist or what?
One thing I did a lot of thought into is sports. Because you wouldn't want a team of gnomes against a team of orcs. So what they do is they have different leagues. The heavy league, they have medium league, small league, and then there's mixed. But mixed is more like humans with the occasional orc. The Cleveland Browns got a motherfucking ogre on their team, and they get 567 touchdowns a game. But compared to the other teams, because you add a couple magical creatures, them numbers skyrocket. Them ogres love gridiron.
Let's see, what else?
I have a question about the Yesterday Kids.
Sure.
In the Yesterday Kids universe, what's the most popular drinks?
That's a good question. I haven't actually thought of that. Probably same as it is now, Monster Energy drinks. Except it's it's more marketed towards Raiders.
You could have. I'm sorry, I'm laughing and trying not to laugh because. Oh, by the way, I caught this motherfucker. These fucking kids don't know real gaming. He had the fucking white can of Monster.
Wonder if it'll be DLC in Death Stranding where you can get the white Monster.
Yeah. If you do, Norman Reedus ages.
Which is actually something that happens.
I know. It does have that effect. God.
I think that we can wrap it up right about now.
Yeah.
All right. I've been Tony.
I've been Zach.
This has been The Monkey Bar.